Gary's just sheer like outwork everybody. Put in straight up doubling whatever your hours are. He's doing double. Like my man would take a single piss a day. Like he'd go 2 hours like holding it, like grabbing it to hold it. Like you know what I mean? Like just wilding. Like.
What's up? It's Nick, and welcome back to My First Exit.
Welcome back. It's Omid. All right, one more time, bro. Third time's the charm. You threw me off.
All right, yo, we're going to keep this all in there. All right, yo, what up, everybody? It's Nick. Welcome back to My First Exit.
What's going on? Welcome back. It's Omid, your co-host.
This guy keeps on saying welcome back, and all right, whatever. Listen, welcome to the show.
We're diving deep.
All right. Today we got on @Tyler on Instagram. Tyler is someone who you probably know is executive assistant, chief of staff, former executive assistant, and chief of staff. Gary Vaynerchuk. He was and has been with Gary for almost a decade now, over a decade, 11 years. And he's had a front row seat to literally all the growth that Gary's been a part of on social, in his companies. He's overseen acquisitions. He's helped manage those acquisitions. He's helped keep those companies alive. And today we're here to do nothing but chop it up about the one and only Gary Vee. It's incredible. I mean, talking to Tyler is really like talking to the cabinet of Gary Vee. You get this inside scoop, and by no means were we trying to probe or bait him into talking about things, but he shared insane stories about the company and his 11 years there, and about Gary and about his vibe and the things that he's taken from him, the things that he's learned.
The show is called My First Exit, where we want to interview entrepreneurs on amazing exits. And in this case, Tyler is not an entrepreneur. However, at the end of the day, an exit can be anything. It can be exiting a bad relationship. It can be exiting a specific norm. It could be exiting, bad weight. In this case, working for one of the most influential entrepreneurs ever, Tyler's been working with Gary for 11 years. So essentially he's exiting the need to be an entrepreneur, which I think is very refreshing, just to be able to talk and listen and hear why someone would decide to commit 11 years of their life to a mission like that.
Let's dive into the episode. And without further ado, Tyler Schmitt.
Let's get it.
All right, what up, everybody? We got Tyler Schmitt here. He's been Gary's right hand. See, I don't even know what to call you. We've been homies for a minute, like chief of staff, EA of Gary's for, it felt like a decade, but I'm sure you were kind of near that number. Tyler's, overseen several acquisitions within the VaynerX ecosystem. He was also rocking with Gary from when the guy really didn't have close to what he has as a social following now. And so he's just been with him as he's like really emerged as this figure that's, now beyond an entrepreneur, but a voice. And if you know how these people run, there's teams of people behind them. And every time I have a chance to meet them, they're the best and my favorite people on the planet. And T definitely doesn't disappoint in that. So T, what's up? It's really nice to see you, man. And it's great to reconnect.
Likewise, man.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit.
Yes, sir, brother.
I'm happy to see you. I was happy when you reached out and we made it work. Thanks for a little patience and scheduling and all that. And
of course, man.
See you doing your thing and new friends as well.
Of course, man. Yeah, this is Omid. This is my co-host, man. We're doing it together. See, quick question for you, fun one here to start. Are you still hooping with Gary at 6 a.m. these days, or?
Yeah, heavily. I mean, he just took an elbow in the face last week and had to get stitches.
Oh, damn, that shit was serious.
He was giving a keynote. Yeah, he's out of his mind. We literally last Tuesday, I think. So
have you ever had to? Tuesday. Do you ever guard him, or have you ever had to guard him?
Yeah, we have like a real I guard him. That's like we match up for the most part, unless this one dude's playing who was on his team and elbowed him in the face. But yeah, we play a lot of hoops.
Yeah, I fuck with that. Yo, in all the conversations that you've had, no one's fucking asked you what it's like guarding GV, bro. Like I have my opinions because I grew up hooping as well. So what's it like? Yeah. I feel like he's one of those guys that just never relax, bro. Like
it's the best. Like he just goes. Like he's a gamer. Like, and what I mean by that is, first and foremost, the worst thing that happens when you play pickup is you play with people that don't care about like the outcome of the game. Because then everything becomes like you play with someone and they're like, I don't care if I win or lose.
It ruins the whole vibe.
If you play with him, like there's none of that. Like he will do everything in his power to win. And so like the tone set from the jump, if you're on his team, is like, the only focus is winning, and we're going to do whatever it takes on some like Greg Popovich, like to win the game, like matchups, like get the ball to this person, like I'm going to yell at people, like the whole thing, right? And that's how I am, is like it's about winning or losing, but in the confines of like not trying to like fucking get hurt and like playing with people that understand hoop, right? And then he'll take on anyone, you know, and he'll throw like some dirty fouls out there and do his thing. But he's so matching up against him, he always wants to smoke. Like, that's it. And he gets buckets. He has a nice little like mid-range. No, never. But meaning he'll still get by me, get into the lane, has a nice pick and roll game. But he's got this mid-range like little floater like that actually is nice. Every year for the past probably 3 years, maybe since COVID, we go down to Miami for a week when his kids are on spring break, and we hoop like 5 days in a row for like 3 hours.
Damn, bro.
And this past year, this man, first day, like, and his son is nice. His son is like the nicest 11-year-old.
His son's 11? His son's 11?
It's like 12, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Water. Like,
my guy, bro.
Steph Curry disciple, like, has a real ratchet, and he's played with us since he was like 7.
Damn.
So, like, he hoops with us in a real way.
Is he dishing out elbows?
Nah. He's just trying to cut people up. He has a nice dribble and he's got range. And so Gary's always setting him up, pick and rolls. And now he like really hoops. Like, we used to do the whole like, all right, slough off a little bit, like, but there's none of that.
Now he's proper hooping, man. Me and Omid really were debating earlier, and we both agreed that we would let our bosses win if like their asses was hooping on.
Yeah.
Straight up, the only reason I'm in the position, or like I met Gary on the basketball court.
Why don't you talk about that? Why don't we use that as a lead-in? Why don't you? Yeah.
But let me finish the story real quick. He showed up the first day and played not well, and then came back, and the next 4 days was just wetting threes, and like watched this YouTube video that like changed his whole game. And this man was just a sharpshooter out of nowhere. I'd never seen him hit threes before. So like he like takes it like intensely serious. Like, had a bad day and went home and watched mad YouTube videos and like came back with a whole new
bro. That's like me with bowling, man. I really like got wrecked in bowling, and I was like sitting in the corner on TikTok. Yeah, bro. Like Luis, one of my best friends, he's so good at bowling, and he'll bowl like a 200, 250, and he was just like wrecking me. I literally went in the corner on TikTok and I was like, how to bowl, and I was like looking up all the videos because it's just like losing sucks.
So good.
Bro, the only sport I do that with these days is golf, man. That's the only sport I do that with these days.
For me, golf is like the only place I really don't do it, because like then I get like, it's like everyone's thoughts in my head. Like, the only thing I do with golf is just go hit the ball as many times as possible.
Yeah.
And see what.
Yeah. And see what and see how that bitch is turning.
Exactly.
And just work with
flare out right.
Omid, didn't you fracture your hand last time you played basketball or something?
Yeah, so I had a crazy story with an ex. Tried to flee New York. I was actually living in New York at the time.
Okay.
And my one of my other best friends is in Canada, so I like drove up to Toronto, and he loves playing pickup. And it's very embarrassing to say this on the pod, but he was like, "Bro, let's go play some pickup to get your mind off of this." And we went to go play pickup, just him and I. And turned out there's a bunch of third graders on the court. And we were like, all right, let's set up a game. And literally, bro, one of them crossed me within the first ball, and I rolled my ankle, and he had to like carry me out of the court. And then I ended up using a cane for the next week until I got my ankle back.
I love it. Road ankle is not fun at all.
No, it's not, man. We've all fucking done it. But T, why don't you give 55 seconds on who you are, man?
Yeah. So, and I'll start just with the story as we wrap up the hoop convo. So I started at Vayner, studied hospitality at Penn State. I grew up working in restaurants, went to Penn State, was not getting into the business school, like literally was failing out, went and did applied business, hospitality school, hotel, restaurant, institutional management. I liked service, and I still do, like very much so. So I'm excited for us to open the members club, Fly Fish, in the fall here in the city. But I went and worked I graduated 2013, fast casual was like really popping. Chipotle was like the new hottest thing out. And all my colleagues were going to work at Marriott and Darden and like the big kind of like holdcos and getting placed all around the country to like AGM, like these hotel like chains. But that was not my scene at all. Like I'm more of like a boutique kind of startup-ish guy, if you will. So I went and worked at this company called The Taco Truck, graduated from Penn State, nice student loans, and they literally had a food truck, a like a very small spot in Hoboken, New Jersey. And then I took the job under the guise of like, we were going to open their flagship in Morristown, New Jersey. So I did that, like oversaw construction, interviewing, hiring, like got the place open. And then it was like, okay, now it's like running shifts and like, I got to like clean up at the night and like do inventory in the fridge. And I'm like, oh, I'm not about this at all. And like everyone's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? But all I wanted to do was run their like social promos and like their marketing, because I could get people to go put their butts in seats. And I was big into Apple and Twitter, like when it was a text platform, and loved social. And so I told them, I was like, can I help there? They had like the one token female that like is like their marketing department type deal. And they're like, no, but we'll help you out. And so the guy, he was an entrepreneur. His wife worked in the ad industry, met her for a coffee, showed up in like a suit. And then she connected me with someone, met him for coffee, got an interview at Vayner, got a job, and started as a community manager on Brisk Iced Tea. And like that was, so the way that worked, the job, and it was dope. I like show up fresh out of college in the fall, November 11th will be 11 years. And
wow,
all young people, it was literally like an extension of college, like at work. And at that time, it was about 220 people or so. And the business model was we created Facebook groups or Facebook pages for brands and then created content for them, posted there. And you'd build your fans up. So if you had 1,000 fans, and Facebook would give you like on average 30% organic reach of content to those people. So we'd bring brands on, and that was it. Brisk Iced Tea was the first brand to post on Instagram, by the way.
Ever?
And ever.
In the world?
Wow.
Yep.
No
The first like
way.
Wait, for
Fortune
sure? That sounds like a
brand.
cap. Like, how do you know that?
like
for sure?
like paid social brand, like from an agency perspective.
Oh, snap.
Like in the marketing world, like someone probably had a fucking brand and was like,
yeah.
I'm gonna post this thing. But from like a Fortune 100, like it was like a big deal. Like we worked with Instagram, the whole thing.
Do you remember what the first
Wow.
post was? What was the first post?
I don't.
It's kind of like that
I
egg
don't.
post that it's just like broke the
It
internet.
sits
kind
there.
of.
So that's like a little random tidbit. But the job of a community manager, you partner with a micro content producer. They were more of the creative. It was a partnership. So we make a content calendar, and it was only photos really and written word. And Brisk was like this late night, like stoner vibe. And I get partnered with this dude, Kenny Crocker. And Kenny Crocker's roommate was a guy named Matt DeMeo, who at the time was Gary's assistant. They were both Jersey dudes. Actually, Matt's a Long Island dude. Kenny was a Jersey dude, but they lived in Hoboken, Yankee fans. And so like we hit it off. And Matt DeMeo was Gary's assistant. I'd been there a couple months. I was living in Jersey at my parents' crib, and Matt hit me up one night late, like, Gary needs a 10th for his basketball run. We played 6 a.m., 14th and 1st in New York City. Like, are you free? It was like 10 o'clock at night. I'm living out in Montclair. I'm like, yup, I'm in. No doubt, no thought, no question. Like, of course. And that day changed the course of my life, frankly. My mom took me, got into that run, but first day, 4:15 train into New York City, walk from Penn Station down to 14th and 1st, hoop 6 a.m., boom, comes out, Gary and I match up, and like my gut is just from there, it was like, I care immensely about whether I'm going to win or lose. He cares immensely about whether he's going to win or lose. When he threw a fucking elbow into my gut down low, I'm like not bitching about it, throw the elbow right back.
Oh,
and like
shit.
from there, it was like I got the look in the run and showed up every time, and that was
So
that.
Day one, you didn't even let him score on you. You still did your best.
No,
Hell yeah.
no. I was like, I'm here to fucking win. And like my whole hoop game is just, all sports is just like hustle. Like I only came into like length and size later, but I'm never really like the most technically gifted. I'm just gonna get more rebounds and
My
play,
God,
play
bro.
more defense. And anyway, that's just how.
So how did that all graduate into you being his right hand, though? I mean, how did you go from like, and you've obviously spoken about this, but I think it's an interesting, beat before we dive into some meatier topics. How did that all graduate into you being the EA, chief of staff type? Because to go from...
I was community manager for a while. I worked on brands. I worked on Brisk Iced Tea. I worked on the Jets, which is a funny story about. And then we won Budweiser, and that was huge. Like we got Shock Top, we got I feel like we got Shock Top and Bud Light to do their social, and that was a big deal. So I was working on those, and then Gary's younger brother AJ, 10 years his younger, was his COO of the company, and he really ran the day-to-day of the business. He was also a hooper, good as a beautiful jumper, AJ, and AJ called me. I had you had like a bi-weekly meeting with like your manager just to check in. And I went in, a lady named Shirley. She's like, so there's a potential opportunity. AJ's looking for a new admin. Would you be interested? Same way I responded to Hoop. I'm like, hell yeah, I'd be interested. Back to like my service roots. I was like, I'm way more into doing that than like posting, posts on Facebook for brands. And went through like interview process and I got that gig. So I'd been there like 8 months, started in November, and I started with AJ in like mid-June of the next year, so 2014. So that was 10 years ago. And so I was AJ's assistant for about 2 years. AJ, and it was kind of like early on, it was like an incubator, like accelerator type of job. Like you do that and then you'd spit out and like kind of pick up some years in terms of what you're doing around the agency. And AJ was stepping away from the business. AJ has Crohn's and like was focusing on his health. And kind of at the same time they were flirting with doing a sports agency. AJ stepped away. I was supposed to go move to London. My graduate and go do a thing. There was 5 of us that were going to go open the office in London, which I always loved. A guy named Eric Fulweiler was the first person he was like the MD and I was like in it. I mean, I was like literally looking for apartments and filling out visa paperwork. And we were in the office one night late, like 10 o'clock. Gary's still in there. We're all in there working. And Gary calls me into his office and was like, yo, I want you to stay and be my assistant. And I'm like, yeah, same, quick. I don't think about this. I'm like, yeah, of course. He's like, nah, go home, go to bed, sleep on it. Like, hit me tomorrow. Let me know. I wake up. I'm like, I'm still in, like that's that. And so that was probably, if I started June 2015, that was February of 2016. June 2014 to February 2016 with AJ. I started with him just about February of 2016 as his admin. And then I'm trying to think when the first DailyVee was started. Maybe a little bit before that.
I remember you were on a shit ton, but I went back and I watched I think it was 5/7 Moving Day.
Yep.
And
bro, that's my favorite episode.
I know you mentioned that shit a few times.
Yeah, I love it.
Gary just trolling on all these youngins, just like, yo, I need my office to be blessed. People are just like out in the cold. They're like, bro, I haven't even been in your office here, bro. It was constant, bro. It was constant. Like, that was a whole new beast. Like AJ was a dialed in, very like, has just this brain that's just like
operational,
savage,
organized. Yeah,
organized. Gary's just sheer like outwork everybody. Put in straight up doubling whatever your hours are, he's doing double. I don't even know how. And then by I mean double, I didn't see this man drink water for like 5 years. Like my man would take a single piss a day. Like he'd go 2 hours like holding it, like grabbing it to hold it, like, you know what I mean? Like just wilding, like, and that was like okay, like Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. text, like yo,
but T, speaking of which, bro, I got it. Yo, there was like you were on a pod and I was just like, I was actually fun because I was getting to know you because I was like, man, it's fun to know a friend. And so you're on a pod and you were like, Vayner had this policy, I'm sure you guys still have it, but it was like you get your birthday off. And so you know where I'm going. And so my understanding was that you got hired as G's assistant and then it was like mandatory company wide. It wasn't like you get your birthday off. It's like you take your birthday off. And so yeah. All right, go. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, it was like in the company, like, cause he was different, like culturally, like, yeah, it was like, no, you can't work on your birthday. Like it was like everyone, like your birthday, you don't, like you get the day off, right? So I'm like, all right, like again, I started February, so my birthday is June 2nd. And
I'm June 6th.
Like, really?
Gemini,
let's go. And like a day before, I think I'm like just checking, like we're going through some things. I'm like, yeah, I'm not here tomorrow. It's my birthday. I'm golfing with my dad. And he's like, Nah, that don't apply to you. Like, it's cute, like, you know, the whole like thing that's going on over here. Like, nah, like this is different over here.
Oh,
Like,
I fucking love that, bro.
Okay. It was that, and then it was like the Saturday mornings because we'd work 14-hour days Monday to Friday, and then, you know, like I'm like, all right, I'm like 20. It's 2016. I'm like 25. Like, all right, it's Friday. I'm going out. Saturday morning, bro. It was not past 8 a.m. on most weekends that it'd be like work. Like, what's good with the emails? Like, calendar next week. Like, boom, boom, boom. And it was a grind for real. It was a real grind. And so I did that with him pretty much. I did that up through like COVID. You know, it was like I was his admin, chief of staff, and then I was solely focused on relationship stuff, biz dev, overseeing different things. At one point in there, I was managing this kid, Bugga. We signed that, won the Fortnite World Cup, I think in 2019 maybe. He came into our office the next day. I'd sat in the room, we hit it off, and all of a sudden we signed him at Vayner Talent, our talent agency at the time. And I was like running his day-to-day management, did his Twitch deal, did his deal with his org. I mean, he was like the hottest Fortnite player in the world when Fortnite was literally
before Ninja or after
Ninja?
Ninja?
Hub of the world. After Ninja. So like Ninja like came out and exploded in the Drake stream. I was like a streamer. Bugga was the best player in the world, like not even like comparable. Like
that's dope.
He was like the best player. So they did a bunch of collab streams together. He was from this small town in PA, came to New York, beat out 100 people, won $3 million. And I mean,
hell yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, like crazy. He was 16.
Quick question. I want to take a beat on something you said earlier. So you said it was a real grind. Given that you're in your like early 20s where, you know, a lot of people want to go and experiment and fuck around and just, you know, see what life has to offer. And, you know, they'll say, you know, they're in jobs for not that long of a time period. With you, what made you want to stick around even though it was like
I just knew the opportunity. Like I just understood what was really at hand. Like I just knew what he was about. Two things. It was my best friend. I was working with my best friends, D-Rock and Andy. Like, and he was more of a big brother. Like the way he would interact, like it wasn't like boss shit. Like he would always shoot it straight. Like, and AJ's on I think 3 or 4 years my senior. So like we were a lot closer, whereas Gary's more like 15 years older, but still would treat you like a brother. But it was more like college than it never felt like a job. I don't know this, but it probably felt more like going to medical school than like working a job that you kind of didn't like, if you will. Like going to the office was lit. Yeah, it was like my homies. Like it was just like everyone,
lit, bro.
You know. And we were on. I loved social and the internet. Like I remember, I grew up playing video games. Steve Jobs was like the person I had most looked up to. I remember when he released the iPhone. Like I invested any penny I have and could get my hands on when I was 17, 18 years old in Apple stock. So I just think I always understood and Bitcoin, like just like, okay, I knew what Gary was doing and what social meant and knew that it was so early. So I just never gave up. Like I just texted my homie earlier that I haven't spoken to in a while. And I was like, just thinking about you. I'm seeing him in a couple weeks for our fantasy draft. And he's like, the last couple of days have been tough. He's a DJ and he's nice with it. Like he's nice with it. And he's been doing that since we were 14, 15 years old. And I just said to him, just stay in. He's like, the last couple of days have been really rough. And I was like, just stay in the game. You know, so like for me, it was always just like, just stay in this arena because I knew it was dope. And I don't know, like partying, I never was like, I'm going to go somewhere, work somewhere else. It was too good. It was just like many like crying, like, why am I doing this? This is insane. I would like to go do something else. But at the end of the day, it was just like, I knew what was good with it. Probably felt like those early like computer days, like IBM, Apple, like those kind of battles. And then, or early social days. I was having a good laugh with some homies the other day. We were like just a Jace from like early Facebook, like, you know, I'd be like owning land in Hawaii right now type shit, but now we were just spending money on Facebook instead. I just knew he was different. What we were working on was super early. And then when DailyVee got going, you know, like the story I always tell about DailyVee was the first time when we started recording DailyVee, I remember Gary being like, okay, we're going to email, you know, his calendar's insane. We're going to record on Tuesday, because at first it was weekly. Every day.
It was weekly.
It was more weekly.
Yeah, weekly.
And D-Rock was a big Casey Neistat fan and disciple. And Casey Neistat was the king of the daily vlog. And Casey shut
quit.
it down.
Casey quit. I remember the day, bro, when Gary goes, yo, we got the news. Casey quit. Gary announced
called him. Yeah, Gary called him and was like, yo, I'm going to pick up the baton. Boom. And it went daily.
Damn.
But I used to email clients, you know, like Gary's coming in to like meet with MasterCard or whatever, PepsiCo. And I'd email like, so like, Gary's going to be recording his vlog today. Like, and we want to ask permission to like film your meeting. They're like, what are you fucking talking about? I'm bringing a camera to our fucking meeting. Like, we're talking about business, and I don't want to be on your stupid clown show. Like, no.
Yo, bro, how did you guys work your way? How did you guys worm your way around that?
People would say yes, and people would say no. We'd be super respectful.
Okay, bet.
Bro, 15 months later,
everybody wanted to be on.
You're setting up the same meeting, and they're like, are you recording? Because like, if not, like, can we do it next Thursday? Like, because I need like that clip, you know what I mean? Like, and so it just changed like it wasn't rapid, but it was like very gradual. And yeah, Andy, D-Rock, and myself, like D-Rock was the filmer editor. Andy was social strategy. D-Rock would film and edit. Andy would handle posting and social strategy, everything outside of Instagram, which Gary still posts himself. And then
Gary posts all of his own shit on IG.
Yeah, that's all of his own content.
That many times a day.
On his IG. Yep.
That's not a cap. Are you serious?
That's huge.
My goodness, man. So
Yeah,
I mean, this boy, why is he kept that one so close to the chest over the years? Like, why not just pass that
It's
off?
where he's closest with his community.
Okay, so he just like he likes having a pulse on that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting. I mean, look, man, like
Facebook, no. YouTube, no.
Yeah.
Like podcasts, no. But like IG, like
I got like these conversations are always so fun because they take free flow, you know?
yeah.
One question I have for you is building off of that. Well, I have two questions, but coming back to like the work thing, I think your perspective on work is aligned with how I see work, in that it's an investment into a very, you know, broader game, if that's how you want to look at it. And so anyone listening, you're not going to be blessed to have the opportunity Tyler has had one-to-one, but you'll have your own version of it. You know, Tyler was in the belly of the beast around somebody that so many things were going right. You know, he had like community at work. He had someone he looked up to. You might not have that, but if you do look, and if you do care to look, what you probably have is this setup, and you're building shit that is going to be for your next move, And so when things get added to your plate that are outside of your scope or outside of the roles and responsibilities, and your response is, I don't get paid to do that. Like, I know you don't fuck with that response, Tyler.
Yeah.
And talk to me about how you do think about things to help people overcome that, because I do believe that that's, you know, a very large part of why you are where you are today.
Yeah. I mean, so I would journal like in the first year, and I still journal. Taking the train in, like I would always like write to myself, like, do one thing that makes you uncomfortable in the office. So I would always like write that in the morning, and then if I was coming home and I didn't do it, I'm like, you're a loser. But I would go up to people just like, what do you do? What's good? Like, how do I get to know you? But really it was like, if you think about things transactionally, you're going to get treated transactionally. And what I mean by that is like, sure, on paper, like you get a job offer, like you get paid to do something. And you can spend an immense amount of time, and this might not be right for everyone. And to be super real about it, 2024 is way different than 2014. Like COVID really exploded this like side hustle and the ability for people to get their own outside of work.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing right here. Before COVID, this would have been like weird.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so, but what I always was like, how do you extract value from your job that isn't money? Like, especially early on, the money is like, somewhat negligible. Like you're just getting by. Like I need to either pay my rent, eat food, and eat the snacks at the office. You know what I mean? Like it was like, so it was like, what else do I gain from the job that isn't money? And that was like knowledge. So like, can you make sure you are with either a manager or someone that actually wants to teach you things that you're interested in learning? Like, so, and is your job something you're interested and passionate about? Everyone says like, oh, if you're interested and passionate about something, you'll do better at it. But it's like, because, you know, Warren Buffett or whatever, a lot of these, you just have to constantly be learning. And now the rate of evolving of change is insane. So unless you're willing to like be interested in like what it actually is you're working on versus paper pushing and in the door, out the door. Yeah, it was like, what can I extract? What can I extract? And that to me was relationships. So the more I do for people, the more I'm in a position to like gain relationships. That might be, we become friends and play basketball. We do business endeavors together. It might be your girlfriend. You do podcasts, whatever it is. Like exactly, like what are the relationships that you can take outside of work? Like your work doesn't own your phone book. Your work doesn't own your, like, you know? And so how do you take that? And then knowledge. And neither of those two things are in your job description or like what you're being, like the value transaction, you know? And so I almost felt like I was like, you're like kind of robbing the company blind in some ways, but you're giving back to it by increasing your surface area of like potential. Like if someone's going to ask you to do something and you say no, cool, they're not going to ask you next time. You're shrinking your potential of like new ad, and you just make it about money. And if you're just going to make it about money, people are just going to treat you about money, and money is a commodity, like straight up.
Man, that's such a line, bro. If you act transaction, you get treated transaction. Omid, did you have a bite?
Yeah, no, not a but. I had a yes. And I heard from, I don't remember, but many people say this. It's like in your life, you're either in a spirit of learning or a spirit of earning. And it's like, really know where you're at in life. Cause like, if you're in a spirit of learning and you try to earn, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. And I love what you're saying. And it's just like absorb as much as you possibly can, learn everything that, you know, is offered to you.
Yeah. And to that point, it's actually something I'm spending a lot of time on right now because, you know, and Nick, we spent a lot of time over the last couple of years on like 137, and like you were definitely a great ally and like a soundboard, and we bounced a lot of things off of each other. But I just moved in with my girlfriend. First time I'm living with a partner in the
Congrats, man.
last like month
Let's
or so.
go.
And I say that of just like periods of life. Like Gary always talked about that. Like nothing is like very like concrete. Like humans change, bro. Like, and they go through things. You knock on wood, you have no idea what you're going to wake up to tomorrow. That could completely change the trajectory of what you need to be doing. And so, to your point about learning and earning, like, as I enter a new chapter in my life, maybe I do have less time for some of those things that I used to just blindly be like, yeah. And because I have other priorities, responsibilities, people that are I got to be accountable to. And so I'm like going through a lot of that, which is like fun. But then you realize like you almost get sharper in those areas, you know, because you got to be
because you have
like
to be
honed in, correct?
Yeah, because you have to.
And so it's cool. Whereas like I used to pretty much wake up, my alarm would go off, and till I went to bed, it was like me, you know, and like my job, and like the ecosystem was so vast that it was that.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm like thinking about a little bit like what's for dinner, what I got to make sure we got, you know,
Yeah.
you know, like take the dog for a walk. Like there's just other things, and you got to stay present in it to enjoy all of it.
Have you heard of Parkinson's law?
No.
So Parkinson's, I might be fucking up the name, but Parkinson's law is that people shrink and expand to the timelines that they're given. And so the idea is that, you know, if you're given 2 days to write an essay, you'll take 2 days. If you're given 2 hours, you'll take 2 hours. If you're given 2 weeks, you'll give 2 weeks. And the studies show that you actually don't sacrifice quality at each stage. And so interestingly enough, you kind of, to your point, you kind of just get sharper, like within the constraints that you're given, which is interesting. Omid, did you have something to say?
Which makes sense just on that is like why like a lot of people at the last hour, like it gets done and you ship it out.
Exactly, right?
It's like no one knows.
And you're Gucci.
You know? Yeah.
It's actually exactly to my point. I mean, Nick, you kind of just teed it up. But Tyler, so earlier, you know, when you took over 137, there was actually in a podcast I was listening to, I don't remember which one, you mentioned that it was one of the things where you're kind of like, yes, I'll figure it out. And you had no idea what you were walking into. And Gary was just saying, hey, you know, don't worry about it. It's just content. What was your process to figure out what needed to be done after you said yes to the opportunity that you had no idea what you were going to do? Because obviously you had to get sharper, and Parkinson's law, you had to figure it out. Like, what's that process like, and how did you do it?
Like, just go forward. And I guess what I mean by that is like, don't strain your neck. I think Gary had some like quote, like content that went crazy about that. It's like, there's no point in focusing on the mistakes. And like 137, like I took over, I think it was 11 people, and it was COVID, and Gary wanted to like literally go to like 40. And so I went from 11 to 4 to like 40. And I think like 6.5 months. All remote hiring, did all the interviewing, you know, and these were pretty much contract workers at like $17 an hour. And so it was just, I guess I think about like the Zucks, who people always say I look like, and I don't understand, but
yeah, you do. Yeah.
Like, I literally got it the other day.
And then also, also I'll put some shit on record, bro. Like, there was a period where you were drippier than Zucks. And then and then that period just like you get like
I gotta give him
my
some
boy
love.
caught up, bro.
He's close.
Did you see that fucking
out right now?
T-Pain
With the chain.
You say T-Pain sent him some ice the other day, bro. Did you see
so
that? It's like what
I did, and I actually texted because T-Pain's doing the closing concert at VCon in LA.
Oh, classic.
Next week. I'm like, yo, that T-Pain momentum is real right now.
Hey, my God, bro. Let's fucking go.
But like, no one knows what the fuck they're doing until it's done.
Oh.
Yeah. Jobs, like always said, you can't
Flip
connect
that
dots looking forward. You can only connect them when you look back. So it was really just, we just were like, it was just go mode. It was just every day.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fire, man. What an answer.
That's really what it is. And I now think about it with Gary's even content, because we've definitely, like, content wise, we're talking about it. Like, he's not in his pocket right now of like explosion like he was, you know, and like we're aware of it. Like, we tried this like podcast, the Roundtable podcast.
Like the 4Ds, talking about the 4Ds?
No, like just in the last year.
Oh, with Gary and his friends, right?
Yep. And like just tinkering and trying, but like that run, there was just go. Like, you talked to D-Rock, like my man was just getting on flights and filming and editing videos. We weren't like sitting around really analyzing or thinking. It was just like ripped forth. And now when we look back on it, it's like, damn, that was crazy. And so it was a little bit of that experience, but I think just innately, for me, it was just the business of building brand. And I think we did a great job with that. Like, and the things that we did to do that were very different and unconventional, and then it just comes down to like making money, you know, and you got to invest and hold your breath long enough before like that starts to hit with a lot of brands, which is why it's an advantage to be in the early stages of your company, because you don't got all this different thoughts and people and, you know, investors, if you will. Like,
yeah,
a lot of people, the whole thing crashes when they take on money, because now other people got their, it's cool you think that, and you're the reason you got there, but now I invested my money and you got to listen to me.
Yeah, exactly, man. Venture could be a fucking dangerous thing, dude, if you're not careful on the real. I got a question, which is, and by the way, it's cool to know that you guys are thinking about content. Like from the experience of someone who's met Gary, I tell people this all the time when not everyone cares, to just be transparent, but sometimes if you meet somebody who's a fan of Gary's, you'll be like, oh, what was he like? And I'll be very, very honest. And I say, it was not what I was expecting. And I've shared this with you, Tyler, and I would share this with Gary. And I said, you think you're going to walk into like this vortex, and you do. I remember being at your offices in Hudson Yards, and I'm just chilling, I'm waiting, and there's just all of this movement and like noise happening around you, but it's like forward momentum. And then you're with him. And what was really shocking to me was how with me he was. Mm-hmm. He's one of the most present people I've met in my life. And it was a point in which it would actually, like, it almost puts tears in my eyes because of how impactful it is. When you're that present with somebody, it washes you. Like, it literally washes you. It's like, whoa, dude. And like, I just felt like eons of love and gratitude and care and joy. And it was not, and I want to be clear, it was not something that I found in him. It's something that he saw in me, and then I was able to move away with. That was my experience of him. And I remember listening to a podcast that you were on, and you were talking about man, I took over 137 and I was in a frenzy. There was real business problems and I was trying to wrap my head around stuff that felt so intense. And I walked into Gary's office and I said to him, dude, this is what I got going on. And I believe that you recalled that you were at a point in tears, and he goes, bro, chill the fuck out. It's just content. It's just money. This is about people. And then you go, that was a moment where you go, bro, this guy just vibes different. And so I'm curious to know, somebody who's, been right here with him for much longer than I was. I had 15 minutes. You've had like almost 15 years. And excuse me that we're fangirling at the moment, but I do feel as though it's a worthy question. And I want to tell you why. Gary's a very impactful person. And I'm curious to know what you've made of his vibe and how you've like conceived that and understood that and, made that a part of who you are.
I think it's the main thing I go to is like perspective in life. Like he gets memed and clowned for like the whole, like he like once a day, he like just envisions like losing his family type shit, and like he's playing at some real grandiose levels at this point. And I still get tripped up. Like I will have a day sometimes where it's just like, fuck everything. You know what I mean? I've never seen him like that, like ever. And It's just perspective. Like whether he was born in the Soviet Union in Belarus, whether he has family that was literally put in jail because of their religion, whether that is because he didn't really know his dad because he worked his ass off every day, like yet still like had an amazing relationship with his mom and his parents stayed together. Like, I don't know, but like, it's just most everything is not that big of a deal. At the end of the day, while it is also the biggest deal, like every little thing matters immensely. And so I just think it's this perspective that he can have. Like, I think he has stressors at times, but like, why? Like it really, like the "you're gonna die" video, like really like doubled his Facebook like crazy. He's in the back of a car, chick walks up like he was leaving a thing, blah blah blah, girl knocks on the window, Gary, can you give me 3 words, like blah blah blah, you're gonna die. Like, damn, all right. Like, all right, like you right. Like you are right.
I remember that too. I remember that video, and this guy crushed it. Like you couldn't think of 3 better words. I would have been like, yo, like play to win or some random ass like
it doesn't matter. Like whatever you're tripping on, like that's gonna be over.
Have you has there ever been a point in your journey where you almost got fired?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, probably the real is no, but that I would have got fired in most every other place.
Oh, okay, that's
like the real is no, because it's almost like in the times when people would get fired, that's when Gary's gonna like double down on you, type shit. Okay. like you just did some crazy shit like that. I kind of respect it,
Yo, what's the name? Can you spill the tea?
So there's just one, and he's told the story on stage multiple times. So I'm with AJ. I got the job with AJ. So I'm a community manager, getting stretched thin. He would tell you this is bullshit, but like one of the accounts, I'm on Brisk Iced Tea, which is PepsiCo. Like I put on Budweiser, which was like the crown jewel of Vayner, like working in alcohol, like is a real, like you made it a bit, and we're like, again, doing like Facebook posts and shit. And then the Jets, which is Gary's, like literally Christianity is Gary, is the Jets, you know what I mean? But bro, the Jets, they didn't pay us. It was a barter, like Gary, we got some tickets. And we did all their social work and shit, So and the way that the account would work was that they would send an email. This is how it worked. They would wake up every day and you get an email, post this at this time, this at this time, this at this time, this at this time. And I was responsible for posting. And I'm like busy, blah, blah, blah. Like a couple times I was late or missed the post or whatever. And I'm telling you, I become AJ's assistant, and there was like a little bit of onboarding, offboarding period where I was like straggling both. The first day I get into AJ's inbox, like access to his inbox, which is like a lot of, just info that you don't know, like whatever, confidentiality. And I mean, the first couple hours, I'm sitting outside AJ's office. I'm in his inbox. I'm like reading. I'm like, oh, shit. What's this? And it's from the Jets. Like, can we talk about Tyler Schmitt? I want to move him off of the account.
No fucking
And this is from the
way,
Jets, which is like the most important thing to them in the world. And I'm like, yo. And I like run into his office, to AJ's office. I'm like, AJ, there's an email in your inbox right now from the Jets asking to take me off of the account. Like this is like my big moment, like working with AJ. And he just looks at me and he's like, don't even think about it again. I'm gonna handle it. Like, let's get to work.
Wow, what a boss.
Damn, bro, what a G.
Yeah, exactly. And so AJ Gary talks about that often. And like, yeah, I got to hit up AJ and see if he has that email actually, because he still clowns me for it to the day. But like, there was not even Gary's not that way. He would never. There's another story like with there was a brand that during the Super Bowl, like some people were logged into the wrong account and they were like disparaging the brand on the brand's account type shit.
Oh shit.
And they came to Gary like the next day. It was a big brand. They're like, you're going to fire these couple people or we're going to walk away.
What did you do?
He's like, I ain't firing them. You're not going to tell me what to do with my employees.
Fire.
He didn't fire them and we retained the business.
Yo, speak like what's out of boy, man? What's a moment that's like, speaking of which, you have another moment at Vayner that you'll just never forget? It was like
the only time I ever had a panic attack.
Oh wow!
It was on a Wednesday.
Do you mind sharing? Do you mind talking about that, or is that
for sure?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Heat of COVID. Like lockdown COVID. Like can't leave the crib COVID.
Yeah.
And Gary took on this partnership with Michael Rubin for this thing called the All In Challenge.
Oh, dude, that was that. Okay, I know where you're going with this. Continue. Yeah.
Crazy. And it was like, you know how they roll. Like, it was dire straits for the company, for us. Every company has no idea what they're doing. First thing you cut is like marketing and shit. And Ruben, they get together, boom, we're going to do this thing. And the whole thing was like, we're going to get all the famous people in the world to donate some sort of experience or like access or whatever it might be. And then people are going to bid on it for charity and do the thing. And I mean, we were working like literally from like 6:30 a.m. till 2 a.m. every night, just like grinding. And I just like straight up broke, bro. Like, cause everything's going on around. Like, my mom ended up in the hospital. I'm like, and I just, I woke up on a Wednesday morning and I was like, I can't do this right now. Had a full-blown panic attack. 24 hours off. They had my back. Right back to it the next day.
Damn, bro. Fuck yeah, bro.
That was real. That was like shit. And when we all talk about that was like war stories for sure. That was like everyone at that time, their hair's long. They don't even know what's good. We're wiping packages down. Like you don't even know where you're getting food.
My
like
mom was wiping
that
those
was
packages.
Like the real times. And it was the busiest we ever were. And like it was like really important to our business because it was almost like a lifeblood of our business at the time.
Damn, man.
So that's a good one. And then like fun ones, I mean, probably 2016, 2017, Gary did like a speaking tour around Australia. Andy, Gary, D-Rock, myself, crew went. But like I spoke on stage with Gary, Andy, D-Rock, and myself, the four of us, in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Auckland. That was pretty sick.
That would have been fucking fun.
Trip there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Were you guys ever like? I mean, as Vayner's always been bootstrapped. So you guys have never been on the brink or anything. I'm assuming, or like anybody wanted to buy you, like a big marketing agency or anybody like that want to come scoop you up?
Gary just keeps it private. He can't. He's like
fair enough.
He's got to stay in full control.
Yeah. Good man, dude. Good for him, bro. Honestly, good for. I think you guys are onto something.
Yeah.
we're almost at the hour. And so 2 more questions. 2 are fun. And I'll just read this one. I thought it was actually beautiful, but the first thing that struck me that I thought to ask you and not Google was you mentioned that your goal is to buy your mom a horse. And I wanted to know where you're at with that, and also how much a horse goes for these days.
Yo,
like
the thing, like what's crazy. So it's definitely still like I'm working at it. She's really gotten back into equestrian. She was just up at a horse show in Saugerties, and so it's close. So the reality is about buying a horse is you can pretty much get the horse for free. It's the stall, it's the food, it's the care, it's the maintenance, it's the equipment.
Oh, interesting.
It's the travel. It's like that.
It's a real thing, yeah.
Like you think golfing is expensive, or like you think like, bro, it is like crazy.
Damn.
Like crazy. And the businesses are like dying, so it's like harder to like find stables, where you're gonna keep your horse. Where my parents live currently, and they've lived, I'm 33. They've lived coming up on 30 years in the house. Like, you can't keep a horse in the backyard, bro. So it's like, the horse you can damn near get for free almost. It's the maintenance now that like I've really dug in is like
interesting.
Like that monthly cost is crazy.
That monthly carry for the horse, man. Omid, do you want to close this out with Desert Island?
Yeah. So, you're stranded on a desert island, and there are 3 people you can't bring with you. Who would it be? It could be personalities. It could be specific people. But you're stranded on a desert island.
Who am I not bringing?
Or you're not bringing with you to the desert?
Who do I want to ensure is not on that desert island?
Yes.
Damn. All right. Who do I want to make sure is not on that desert island? That's crazy. Like, who do I actively do not want to fucking spend time with?
Yeah, we've had people literally say, "Yo, like, actually, no, I'm not gonna bury the lead here. You go."
Let's see. Like,
this guy's going through
your phone
this
book?
guy's going through his
I'm like just like opening Instagram, like, and then I'm like, I hope they don't pop up immediately because then it's like I shouldn't be even following them. Who do I not want? Bro, that's like a crazy question to me. I gotta like out people that okay. Damn.
Yo, do you want me to throw you a safety net here? All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So look, like the goal is not to fucking fuck up your relationships. Obviously, you could take it in funny directions, etc.
Yeah.
But I could tell this one is, it's stumping you. You could give archetypes. So we've had people say, all right, for sure, like, well, I'm not bringing with me. Like, we've actually had people say, I will not bring a pastor with me, not because I don't believe in God, but because I can't have somebody around there that thinks only one way of life. And so we've had people say it figures like Elon Musk, because like that motherfucker.
Like, I don't want to bring depressed people that want to die.
Okay, cool. By the way,
I need people
that's a good category.
I need optimism.
Yeah,
Like,
so we need optimists. So depressed.
Probably people that don't like islands. Like, I don't.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you meaning if you like islands, I don't want you there because you're gonna try and stay on that island.
That's so
and there's like unique, a level of survivalist to that, like,
that's
you
unique.
Want someone that's good but not like wants to be Bear Grylls for the next month on this. I'm trying to get out of here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we trying to survive, but not for too long.
All right, what's the third category? So we got depressed and anxious. We got motherfuckers who
island lovers and like super survivalists.
And super survivalists.
Like they can be making content like they've been waiting their whole life to get lost on an island.
Oh fuck!
Bro, like, this isn't your big moment, bro.
The daily island
moment to get out of this.
A daily vlog of being stuck on the island.
Exactly.
That's too fucking good. Yo, T, man, we had so much we didn't get to, bro. But anytime with you, I really mean it, man. It's a blessing, brother. I'm glad that we get to intersect whenever we do. I'm glad that you and Omid had a beat and you guys had an opportunity to meet, man. And thank you so much, dude, for making time.
No doubt. Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for letting me share some stories. It's fun. Like, for me, it's fun reminiscing, and I'm trying to get my content. I'm about to pop off. I'm going to record a video about this Nike tweet that was going viral. I don't know if you guys saw it. This
what is
former employee. If you just literally on Twitter, just type Nike, some former like exec there, their stock's been really struggling. And if you pay attention to culture, they're just like struggling at large. But But pretty much like it talks about how in 2020 they really shifted one away from wholesale like strategy and went DTC with everything, and then two, like how they changed their whole billion. Like in like one day. I mean, and even in the last couple of days their stock is down bad. But pretty much they cut out wholesale. So like as a sneakerhead, like boutique retailers are everything, and like those tier 0 accounts like were huge, you know, like as an experience. And like you wanted pretty much to, if someone else is going to sell your brand for you, like that's the best thing you can do. And then they cut all those people off like at the knees, like in 2 seconds. And we're like, we're just going to sell it ourselves. Then you're marketing your own product. You don't have other people working for you. And then they switch from like brand marketing and like emotional driven marketing and like acquire new customers through emotion and brand to like focus on retaining and expanding existing customers. So if you bought 1 pair of shoes, they want you to buy 2 or 3, not like if you never owned a pair of Nikes, we need you to own a pair of Nikes. And yeah, it's crazy because like it was all about like they need to be able to measure the money that they're spending. But like that's in the ad industry, like you can't measure brand. Like you can't measure brand. And like Gary had this big thing, what's the ROI of your mother? Like you can't put a ROI on that, you know? And so like I want to make a video about, because so what I do now at Vayner is
what do you do these days? What are you up to?
I have a team called Core Relations.
Okay. Also I'd reckon that Nick Deal's on your team. Like you guys are
Nick and I are partners.
Oh, understood.
Yep. Oh, Nick and I are partners.
You,
team of about 5 of us underneath us. Nice. And it's twofold. It's like just non-transactional, identify anyone emerging that's dope in culture trends and build relationships with them and get close and see how we can bring them value. And then 2, like we're building out our influencer services at Vayner. And so it's like prospecting and deal making with our clients for creators. And, you know, if you've been whatever, just like the numbers, the sheer what is happening from an influencer marketing standpoint is crazy.
Are you looking at TikTok Shop? Like, have you been?
Affiliate, all that stuff. But my point is that everyone's going to come in and try and measure how to work with influencers and put dollars and cents to their like working with them. Like, how did this reel do? What did it, you know? And I'm like, don't fuck it up. Like, if you're a brand, like just try to build relationships with these people. How can you help them? Whether that's a cosign, whether that's free product, whatever, and they'll be your biggest evangelists more than like, again, cash is a commodity. We talked about it earlier. Like, you know what's better for a creator than $5,000 is like a muse to create content. Know that you're there for them. Like a cosign that a brand is fucking with you that you can then leverage into other opportunities, right? Like if you're just going to pick up the phone and say, make this post for $5,000 and that's it. Like they're going to give you the shittiest thing ever. And that's what happens. And the same thing with fucking Nike. They stopped actually trying to make beautiful work and get people to emotionally care about their brand. And when you talk about retailers and like supporting other people's businesses through your own product, when you cut that off, like your biggest advocates are going to become, they don't give a fuck.
You guys are onto something with this. I've always, I like the MO I've always questioned in the Vayner world that I'd love for you to clear up in 30 seconds is, I believe in organic social. I also believe in paid social. Like, I think that both are like genuinely excellent levers to drive acquisition. There's so many, right? Influence marketing, et cetera. And so Gary is like bullish on organic. He's been bullish on organic social. But I would say I agree with every single bit of it. The 5% I disagree with is actually not disagreement. I just don't understand it. Because sometimes I've witnessed, and I've seen way less shit than Gary, so I'm not trying to front. I've witnessed paid social do things that organic can't, like, because just the targeting and the ability for you to like convert. And then I've seen like, I've spun my fucking wheels on organic and nothing clicks, nothing sticks. And, you know, again, that could just be my own strategy. What's the general take on that internally these days? Like, why is...
I mean, we spent $1 billion on social platforms last year. Like, we spend, right? But like, what the thing is like the companies that are established are done. You got some of the biggest brands in the world spending less than $1 million on organic social. Really? And then, bro, like crazy. Gary spends more than most Fortune 500 companies on his own brand in organic social. And the thing is why, like, organic social is free and it gives you the insights to what you should be running paid against. Yeah. Most people sit in a room, decide what they want to pay for.
Interesting.
Like it matters, you know, like the three of us, like instead of us deciding what to put out and put paid against, let's put it out 5 times over in different ways, see what works, and then put paid against the one that works. And those insights should then lead to the larger campaign.
And they do. And by the way, I've also seen it work vice versa, oddly enough. Like when something oddly, you'll find like creative that sticks on paid and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think that messaging was really hidden, but that's working. And then, you know, build it in organic and it works out. But anyways, we've kept you a few minutes over, brother. Well, dude, all love to you, man. Yo, you know, stay close.
Good luck with this. Let me know when it's rolling out and all that jazz. I'll throw some clips up and let's keep jamming. I'm here, bro.